welcome to another video from salesblog.com. In this video we shall be looking at the Thermaltake MK1 gaming case. It's advertised to have a lot of features that a gamer would regularly use, or features that facilitates a gaming build and so forth. So it comes in a rather large-ish box because the case itself is rather large, and it's nicely printed, as you can see, with a few specifications at the back and feature list and so forth, and some thumbnails. And a lot of you may think that buying this online, there may be a little bit more freight to pay or things like that. The reason obviously is because the box is this big. So without any further ado, let's just unbox this and get to look at what the case is like close up. Okay, so that's the case out of the box. As we can already see, the front has a lot of mesh, grill and so forth. We will be looking at the front in details. The left side has one acrylic window and a rather large space for a fan. The other side here is slightly dented outwards, which over here makes it look like a design. However, it has a functional purpose as well, which we will be looking at. And the legs over here can be adjusted to make it look like this and give it more stability and so forth. So let's get into it. We will look at each section in details, and then we'll go into the inside. So let's look at the front panel first. So the front bay, first of all, has 4 5¼ bay. There is no dedicated 3.5-inch bay. So that means some fan controllers and things like that, or card readers, cannot be installed directly as such without using a 5¼ to 3.5-inch converter. Anyhow, apart from that, let's start. These covers, they come out very easily, just press on either side, and the inside, if I can focus it, is filtered, so dust will not be getting in through these, but air can, because it has the metal mesh over here. Anywho, putting that back, there we are, snaps back just like that. If you want to take the whole cover off, just hold from the bottom and from the top, pull. That's it. It's really simple. What there are these, there we are. See these, they have the legs over here. There we go. So they sort of snap in. It's very easy. It's absolutely tool free. Just pull and it'll fit. The rear, there is nothing special to mention apart from those legs, and that's it. Everything else is pretty much business as usual. Metal mesh, plastic frame, and that's it. The entire frame is made out of plastic, by the way. Now, behind the front face, there is the filter for the front air intake, which can obviously be removed, washed, and you can fit in 2 120mm fan in the front. There's plenty. It looks like there's plenty of room from the front metal over here, the front metal pane, to the hard drive cage, which I can see from here. Let's see if we can zoom in, which we'll be looking at in a sec anyway. And over here, another thing that I need to mention is that the gap over here is not obstructed by any form of beam running in between. Like a lot of cases, they do have beams running through and things like that. Why this is good is that there are some devices out there that uses two 5 1/4 bay, like front mounted cooler. Big Water 760 Plus, another product from Thermaltake, that uses two spaces, and you can install it just like that, without having to worry about managing. However you see fit, you can fit it in, or whatever. That's just a simple thing, but quite useful when it comes to it. Other than that, that's the front panel. Now let's snap this back on and move on to the top pan. That's done. Fits in so. That's pretty easy. And to fit this, simply align the legs. Voila. Okay, so the I/O and all that. That's right at the top, at the front. There's no incline or anything. This is parallel to the floor. So, what do we have here? First, the two USB 3 ports, and then eSATA, and then two USB 2 ports. In the middle, there's the power button, and the moniker over here, that is also a LED for power. This over here is the HDD dock. It's placed on the top, obviously, for a benefit that you will be putting things from the top, and it's hot swappable and so forth. Placing it in the front would make no sense, and I'll be talking about that in one sec. But continuing, over here on the left is the headphone, and next is the microphone, next the reset, and then the fan controller, right? There's a high setting, low setting, and then fan LED. Now the fan LEDs are color shifts, of course. They have color shift fans over here, so we will see these in action. Now, one thing that I needed to mention is that all this up here looks very nice and all that, but I would rather prefer these things to be in the front. Now, not everyone's going to have their cases on the floor, right? It makes sense if you're using this from the floor, so it'll be right, next to your chair, easy access. But if this is on a desk, which it is in this case, and someone is sitting down and using, they cannot see any of this, and accessing this is, it's quite a height to reach up. They have to stand up every time they want to plug in something or so forth. So that's a little, my opinion, that some of the things should be at the front accessible and so forth, but that's how it is. Anyhow, moving on, we shall be looking at what's at the back over here. Lots of grill, so let's concentrate onto that now. So the top panel, as you can see, it is predominantly metal mesh, and comes down in like a layer, like the rear is a little bit above the front one and so forth. And obviously all this mesh is not just for visual effect, it is very functional. To remove the top panel, just hold from the back, pull, it comes off just as the front one does, and it uses the same sort of leg as the front one does. Now, a little note about the top panel. The filter over here, it's not as fine as the other filters normally are, and it is not removable, so it is built into the honeycomb structure that you can see. It's behind it, sandwiched between the top metal grill over here and the honeycomb plastic structure over here, but nonetheless it's there. Now into the fan. They include a 200mm color shift fan. The other space is empty, obviously, but can accommodate another 200 millimeter fan, and if you have other dimension fan like 120 millimeter or 140 millimeter, you can use them as well. The holes are there, all you have to do is install them. And similarly, this one as well, if you want to remove it, use another fan of your choice, you can do so. Now, moving on, we will quickly look at the back next, and take it from there. Okay, so the rear panel. First, let's start from the top. What the groove over here you see is the place where you can push the top panel up from. Coming down from there, these are the 3 rubber grommets for your liquid cooling system, pass through and so forth. Fan exhaust space, not filtered. 8 expansion ports. There's a grill over here, not filtered. This at the bottom over there has the space for the power supply, of course, but what it has is a removable dust filter that comes out. So, of course, you can give it a quick wash and then slide it right back in, like so. And of course, the screws included at the back are thumb screws, which is quite nice. Now the thumb screws, they come out all the way. Some cases they have those thumb screws that comes out and then is retained so that you don't lose them, but that's another thing. And of course, place for padlock, so a little security option over here. So that was the rear panel. Now let's look at the side panel over here. Right, the right side panel is attached with 2 thumb screws. Once it comes off, pull. Oh no, not pull. Actually, just pushes out like so. Now, I mentioned the dent outwards is actually functional such that it allows a little bit more space from the back of the case. So you're running all the cables and things like that, it just gives you a little bit more space to do the job. As you can see, there's a lot of place for cable ties to be attached, which is quite nice, and they're positioned quite near the rubber grommets over here for the the cable pass through, and there's quite a lot of it as well. A big cutout for your CPU retention plate installation and so forth. There's a little bit of cutout over here as well. The back of the hard drive cage appears to be not obstructed in any way. Actually, there's not any metal running through here at all. So far it's reasonably decent proposition as far as cable management and things like that go. Should be pretty easy, and we will see that in more details as we progress.